What I've discovered, both through my own journey and through working with thousands of women, is that the biggest thing holding us back isn't usually that lack of ability. It's a lack of self-trust. We don't actually trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to make the leap, whether that's the leap to leave the job that we're unfulfilled, to start the business we've always dreamt of, to put ourselves out there and start anew, to leave the relationship we know isn't going well. We get swept up in everybody else's life. And because we don't trust ourselves, we stay where we are, often frozen in a very, very controlled space where we no longer, well, we're not feeling fulfilled anymore, and we're becoming actually more frustrated, not only with ourselves, but with our outside world. And we're never knowing what to do next. Not because we want to, but because it actually feels safer to stay stuck. I know this because I've lived it. There have been times in my life when I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew I wanted to leave the relationship way before I did, years before. I knew back then that I wanted to leave the NHS career. It wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I knew I wanted to create something incredible, which had a bigger impact for myself. But knowing and doing are very two different things, aren't they? Let's be honest. Because I know fear was the thing that was keeping me stuck hour after hour, day after day. And it kept me alone in my mind. And I wasn't really reaching out and thinking it was possible to change or I could get help. So I always believed I had to work it out by myself and do it alone. I was afraid to speak to others as they weren't in the same mindset and they were happy toodling along doing what they wanted to do. So it was safer for me to stay stuck. Now, self-doubt kept me hidden. It kept me frozen inside from taking any action or asking for any help. And I literally would kept myself hidden away. And here's what I've learned, which took me years to finally actually break through. Because confidence doesn't come first, or the how or the path to do it. Trust comes first and has to. Most women think they need the confidence before they take the action steps. Confidence is only built and created by taking those action steps itself, even when it feels scary. Now, the women I've met who have created extraordinary levels of success aren't fearless. They've just simply learned to trust themselves enough to move step by step before they had all the answers. That was one of the biggest lessons I took away from my recent trip to Los Angeles to Manifest LA. I spent time around some incredible, successful business owners, women who were in their prime, women who were able to express and just be themselves. And they had built extraordinary lives. And what surprised me wasn't so much their success as in the money or the lifestyles, the design they had created even. It was how much they trusted themselves. That energy was flowing from them. They weren't constantly looking for permission outside of themselves. They weren't constantly asking everybody what they felt or what they thought. They weren't waiting for certainty to show up at the door. And the exact pathway wasn't having to be in their view for them to take the bold steps. And they weren't worried what others thought of them anymore. That had almost gone. And they weren't trying to guarantee every outcome before making that step, before they made that move. They'd actually trusted themselves that they could figure it out.